Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to episode 23 of Cryptozoology's Survival Let's Play. Starting off this episode, I have a very important question for you guys. That's right, I need help naming our castle. We're almost completed. We're probably going to be finishing it in this episode or the next one, and the time has come where we actually need to name the thing. My idea behind this castle is that the people who are living here are very wealthy, so if you have any ideas of castle names that could tie into that, just let me know and I'm going to be picking one of them in the next episode. I've also done a bunch of work in between episodes, and the biggest of which was probably doing all of this terraforming around the entire castle, and I also finished the exterior of the castle just around that corner. But I'm not going to spoil that quite yet because I have a tiny little bit of a time lapse for you guys, so I'm going to roll that right now and give you guys a bit of commentary of what I built up, and then we'll get back to it. Alright everybody, so this is actually a pretty monumental time lapse because we technically finished the castle exterior in it. So what you're seeing right now is me building up the second to last tower of this entire build. Of course we still have like 500,000 interiors to do and a bunch of that stuff, and we're going to be getting to that all eventually, but in this time lapse I really just wanted to finish the exterior of the castle so that we could kind of call it complete, and I'm really happy with how it eventually turns out. So what you're seeing right now is me finishing up the back of the keep, and it looks pretty sweet. It eventually gets covered up mostly with the exterior wall and the other tower that's going to go in. It still looks awesome from the inside, and especially in the keep because it adds a lot of natural light, and once we throw in the feast hall in there, it's going to be looking amazing. But guys, we actually did it. With this, we finished the exterior of the castle, and we still have a bunch of details to add, but hitting this milestone is crazy. I've put in countless hours into this build, and I'm so happy with how it's coming out. But guys, with the end of the time lapse coming up, let's go take a look from the ground. I hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse because I had an absolute blast making it. We were able to finish up this tower, and the walls on the outside, and that actually marks the completion of the exterior of our castle. We have no more towers to build, no more walls. All that's left is detail work, adding trees and terraforming to the outside, as well as all the interiors, and we're actually going to take a look at that right now. As well as finishing the exterior of the castle, I also built up this awesome little stables area. So I put all these stalls in here where some horses can be kept, and they even have some hay to eat, and a little bit of a water trough where they can be drinking some water from, a couple of those. But you can see it's looking pretty lonely right now because we're actually missing something kind of important for stables, and that's horses. So we're going to be grabbing some of those in just a minute. But what I want to show you right now is that I also have this little back area, and we're going to be building a blacksmith back here. It's pretty essential for a castle to have a blacksmith because I need a way to produce tools and armor. So I think it'll be a kind of a cool spot to build it back here, and we're going to be doing that in this episode. But right now what I want to do is actually grab some horses. So I'm going to grab a few saddles and some wheat and stuff and see if we can tame some horses and populate our stables a little bit. Horse number 1, horse number 2, and horse number 3. Alrighty everybody, with that our stables are looking a lot more lively. We've got 3 horses in here and they all have horse armor and saddles, but what they don't have are names. So if you guys have any names for these awesome horses, just throw them in the comments and I'll name them in the next episode. I've got a bunch of name tags, so if you have multiple, just let me know and we'll name these guys all in the next episode. But what I want to work on right now is our stables. And I'm actually going to do this off camera because I don't have a design yet, and it could take me quite a bit of trial and error and take me quite a bit of time. And once I've made some progress, I'll give you guys an update. Alrighty everybody, so the blacksmith is now complete, so let's go take a look at it. I absolutely love how this thing came out. It's so cozy back here. They've got a bunch of storage back here, and they have some flowers and some little bushes and stuff just to add some color to the place. And what I love most about it is the forge, which is actually inspired by BlueNerd, so I have to give him some credit for that. His link will be in the description down below. But everything else is a unique design. But using the bricks just added some contrast of color, which I think this place really needed, so it wasn't looking so gray. And then that's also why I added a bunch of these leaves and flowers just to add a bit of color and make the place look more lively. But if we come to the actual blacksmith, you can see there's more storage in here, some places where they can douse the things that they're working on, the swords and the armor and the tools. And then they have an anvil where they could be hammering away, building up and shaping all the swords and all that stuff. And the last thing we just need to add is actually some lava on top of these campfires, and they're there just to add some smoke. So if you take a step back, you can see all the smoke is coming from underneath, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. And make sure if you're using lava in your builds, you guys, you have fire tick turned off, or you're going to burn down your entire builds. So mine is turned off, so no need to worry about that. But now that the blacksmith is complete, we can actually call the interior of the back of our castle finished. So I'm really happy with that, made a lot of progress on this. And the next thing I want to be working on is actually some terraforming. So we have all of these grass patches on the outside of our castle, and I decided that they needed some terraforming. So I decided to build a few trees and put some flowers in and some taller grass and just all of that good stuff that really adds a lot of detail and makes the castle blend better with the terrain. So I just continued that all around the entire castle. There's about like 3 areas where I had to do it, and you're going to see that all in this little time lapse. But you can see this is working around to the back of the castle, and I recently actually just put out a video on how to build trees. So if you guys are interested in how I build these things, I'll put a link to that in the description as well as an icon in the top right. And yeah, you can check that out, see kind of how I build these things up, and I think they really add a lot of detail to the place. And honestly, I'm super happy with how this came out. I think it really just makes the whole build kind of come together. So let me know what you guys think of this, and if you guys like to do terraforming in your own worlds as well. But that about wraps up this time lapse, guys, so let's hop back to the ground. How awesome does the back of the castle look now with all this terraforming in? Also, while I was taking a look at this, I noticed that there's like just a horse chilling out in the river there. So I guess we have a river horse now. But guys, there's actually something kind of cool I want to do in this episode, and that is take on an ocean monument. But there's a few things I need to do before we do that. So it's time to cue the epic montage. I was going to make this awesome compilation of me gathering up a bunch of things. And guys, the first thing I went searching for was a puffer fish so that we could make underwater breathing potions. And while I was searching for a puffer fish, I literally found a temple. I don't know what the odds are of that, but this literally saved me like hours of time searching for this thing. And now that I'm here, you know, I kind of want to throw all precaution out the window and just kind of send this thing without any of those potions or anything. So guys, let's just do it. I set my spawn just in case we die, and I've got a few things there, and I also made up a bunch of doors so we can place them underwater and then we can breathe under there. And I also have a lantern in my offhand so that we can see a little bit better. But without a further ado, let's do this. I'm kind of scared right now not having any of the underwater breathing potions or things like that, but you know what, I don't really care. We've got this. I've got my sword, and let's try not to get lost in this place. I'm already lost. Seems like a dead end. Okay, weirdly enough, I haven't gotten mining fatigue yet. I don't know how that's possible, but I'm just breathing underwater using a door. Super helpful trick. But if we don't have mining fatigue, we can honestly just mine into this. I don't know how we don't have mining fatigue right now, guys. If the elders... Okay. Well, that explains that. Let's find these elders. There should be 3 of them that we have to kill. Okay, I found the first elder. Oh my gosh. Oh wow, our netherite gear is so OP. We're not taking any damage. Let's do it. Come on. Nice. 1 elder down. 2 more to go. Okay, we found the second elder. Let's take this guy out. Man, our armor is just so OP. We literally take no damage. Nice, second elder down. Alright, we found the last elder. Let's take this guy out. There's also some of the smaller guys in here, so hopefully they don't hurt us too bad while we're doing this. Come on. Oh man. Let's heal up. On our lanterns. Oh my gosh, I can't get our lanterns back. Oh man, everything's falling apart. Oh, okay, our mining fatigue runs out in 15 seconds. That's absolutely perfect. Alright, so this should be the gold inside of here. It's not too much, but it's worth our while. How many blocks is that? Yeah, 8 blocks, not bad, not bad. Unfortunately, this particular ocean monument doesn't have a sponge room, so we didn't get any of those. But guys, with that, we've finished taking on this thing. We can claim it as ours now. Eventually, we'll be turning it into some mega farm, but today is not that day. But with that, I think we can call Mission Ocean Monument complete, so let's go head back to our castle. Venturing that ocean monument was so much fun. I had an absolute blast, you guys. It's been a really long time since I've done that, so I sure had a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. We've got some weird wandering villager there just kind of chilling on our castle, but what I wanted to do right now was fix up the river a little bit here. You can see it's got this weird little section over here that I want to smooth out, kind of something like that, and eventually it's going to be going way deeper. I'm thinking like, 7 to 9 blocks deep or something, and I think I'm going to be doing that in the next episode actually, but I thought we could at least start with getting some of this done and fixing the shape of it, so at least we know the shape is right, and then we can work on the actual depth. So that's all filled in, and then I think I'm just going to bring this out a tiny little bit more so this flat section isn't so big and it kind of blends more into the environment a little bit better. Alright, so we still have to wait for the grass to finish filling in, but I think that's a pretty good shape for at least getting us started. And then in the next episode we're going to completely transform this river, and it's going to be looking a lot better. I just quickly wanted to take a minute to talk about some of my future plans with this area. We're getting super close to finishing the castle, and once I get that done, I think I want to be building a city on the other side. The castle is on its own little island here. We've got this little bridge connecting it, and then I think I want to be building a gigantic city, and it'll have a bunch of docks here, and then there'll be some big boats in the water, and I just think that would be so much fun to build. And if you guys have any other suggestions or fun things that you think we could put in this area, or if you think that we should just move to a new area altogether, let me know that as well. I read all of the comments and I reply to all of you guys, and that's kind of my favorite thing about doing this whole thing, is that we can decide what we want to build in this world together, and I think that's a lot of fun. But guys, what I want to do right now is actually update our map. Just heading on upstairs in our tower, this is our map right here, and you can see this is that weird little water thing that we just fixed. So we actually need to update this right now. So let's take these maps out of the item frames and actually update them. So taking a look at this one, you can see we finished that whole little section of the castle. It looks pretty weird not updated. You can see that's all the terraforming that we did. And then let's take this one down as well. And wow, this is actually pretty crazy to see. Let's throw this back on, and you can see our castle is actually kind of finished. It totally wraps around, and then we just have this inside courtyard to finish. So to get a better look at this map, actually, I want to head over to my map room that is at the village of Pharos. If you're new to the series, you may not be familiar with this village. This is our village of Pharos, and this is where we first started this whole series. So I always love coming back here, and this is where our map room actually is. If we just head on into this building, you can see we have a gigantic map on the wall, and I always love coming back to this and seeing how our world has been progressing. This is our castle over here, and the village that we're in is all the way over here, our village of Pharos. And I love seeing them both on the same map like this. It really adds a lot of kind of life to the world, seeing how there's these different civilizations all in the same place. And I'm actually going to be adding a roadway that goes all the way from the castle to our village, interconnecting them, and I think that's going to be super duper fun. You can also see that there's a bit of a disconnected river, and I kind of want to be fixing that up so that it fully connects in and cuts across this whole landmass up into here, and I think that's going to be super fun to do as well. And then we can build like a bit of a bridge over, and then like I was saying, I want to be building a gigantic city in this spot. And then we also need to finish up this river, so you can see there's a lot we have to do in this area. And then in this big forest, I want to be building, hobbit holes, maybe a whole nother little village. Who knows? The sky's the limit, or should I say 256 is the limit, since that's the height limit for building. But anyways, guys, that's kind of my future plans for this world, and I just wanted to let you know. And we're also going to be doing a world tour in episode 25. So if you're new or kind of forget what's been going on in the past few episodes, don't worry, because you're going to get caught up in that episode, and I'm going to be having a few special guests on that episode, so it's going to be a lot of fun, so definitely stay tuned for that. But guys, that's going to have to do it for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed. I had so much fun making this episode. Don't forget to let me know your castle name ideas. I'm going to be picking one in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, take care, and thanks for watching.